as we are into a journey of, as we have started our journey from the, we are coming out of the pre-pandemic scenario, the post-pandemic, where we have gone through the COVID. So before I get into the hybrid cloud or what is AI, ML, and data analytics and all those things onto the tech talk, let me give a brief introduction about Nutanix. We started in 2009. We were founded in 2009 by the three Indians. And if I have to just call out the major milestones, which was there in 2018, where we were with 10,000 customer base, and in 2021 where we went to 19,000 plus of customer base. If you'll see, in just 3 years we have doubled our customer base. And if I had to stress upon the large brands, okay, across the globe, so there are some of the brands which are listed out over here in the globe. And if you'll if I had to pinpoint, which is the Homeland Security of US Department, which has been our customer for almost a decade now, okay, right from the journey when we started. And just to get to Indian government and the PSU customers, okay, if you look at it, in oil and gas, we have Indian Oil, we have GAIL, we have HPCL as our prestigious customer, to name it over here. Then we also have in BFSI, okay, the LIC, or the Life Insurance Corporation, or the United Insurance, or the NABARD, or the NSE, the National Stock Exchange, and the CDAC. Also, you have a DRDO, which are the labs of defense. Okay, we have the ISROs also of the world. So if you'll see, Nutanix is spread across in all the departments and public PSUs in India. Now, let's look how the way forward we are going to look at it. Okay, now since we are coming out of the pandemic, so what are the key areas and how do we see it? So the first step during, especially during the pandemic, what we realized that the IT and the business team has to be two sides of the coin, rather than it has to be two different poles altogether. They have to work together to enhance the business from the during the pandemic time. Both IT and business of any sector, okay, they have worked together like a team, like one bonding team. And to ensure that, okay, to come out of this the deep period, okay, so what are the main pillars? We have to engage with our customer very deeply, and we have to improve their customer experience. So what are the ways and means of doing that? Whether we have to discover new avenues of our business and how to extend the value chain also. Now, let's see the challenges which were thrown, okay, during the COVID time or during the pandemic time, and how we are recovering from that, and how is the recovery journey. So these are the very broad level pillars which are there, and these are most of the common pillars across all the industries, if I have to put it across. So first stage was to do the crisis management. The second stage was to do the cost reduction to sustain the business. The third stage was also, while sustaining the business, there was a profitability which was there. And again, when we started coming out of the pandemic, we slowly we have to rebuild our business to take it to the new levels, and we have to sustain the growth also. At the same time, there were other challenges, as we have been studied for so many years that the oil has been the biggest economy of the world, okay, and slowly steadily there was a new economy which was getting developed side by side, which was data. And data, being a conglomerate have the all the industries across the world, okay, so be it your social industry, be it your oil and gas, be it your aviation industry, or be it your FSI industry, data is a common factor where every industry thrives. And the growth of the data is so rapid and it is so fragmented. Say for example, if you'll find data, if I had to correlate an example, a person who fills a petrol or a diesel in his car, uh, for him it can be any of the petrol bunk who are the providers out over there, but the experience what he enjoys or he gets to each and every bunker of the petrol pump are different, and it is various. So those experience are also nowadays counting from the customer retention policy or customer loyalty program perspective. So those data are fragmented completely. Say for example, to give a layman's language example, I have a smartphone. With smartphone, I have downloaded certain photos in my mobile device itself. And there are other photos which are stored on either on Google Cloud or either on iPhone or the Apple Cloud, which are there. So the data is completely staggered, fragmented, and no one has the control. And we have left with very few experts to analyze the data and how the data is going. To have that, it has been mandated to have a proper entire machine learning and the artificial intelligence comes out of there, where data has been exploding like on day-to-day basis by in a trillions of way. Now we require a data scientist. So this architecture or this the flow which is there, it's a very high level flow for doing any data scientist or any AI or ML kind of workshop. You have a data scientist out over here who are doing the iterative development on small data sets, which moves to the machine learning engineering for the model production governance with GitHubs and all those things where it gets released. Then this iterative developments on a large data sets gets moved to publish to the ML engineer or the production engineering. And this is a cyclic motion, how it keeps on doing it. So over here, I would just like to stress small example over here, which is there like the object storage of Nutanix or files and Era. Now, with machine learning and artificial intelligence, you will have the various data sets. Okay, the data sets can be a SQL data set or a non-SQL data sets also. And all these data sets can be managed through our solution, which is called as Era. Okay, you can do a complete automation, whatever you think about it, you can do it. Similarly, if you want to have the retention policy from the dataset perspective, you can use our object storage and you can move ahead on files also by having a unstructured data out over there. Now, while doing this, okay, we always think how and where should I store all this data and how should we take it ahead? So the first logical question which comes to our mind is about the public cloud. Okay, it's a very logical because I don't have to go through an iterative process of floating a RFP and then coming into validating and evaluating the various vendors and all those things. By having a public cloud, the process, if it is taking 9 months or 12 months time, it gets shortened by 3 to 5 months of time, and it's a easier way to market also. So that is how the public cloud comes into the picture. And if you'll see, most of the CXOs, CIOs have chosen the path to go on public cloud. And as we started the journey of public cloud, and when we launched, and there were very early results, we started gaining early benefits out of the public cloud. Yes, all the capex were turned into opex, and we started seeing that our cash books, the cash flow was in a good amount. But the point came where, as in the PPT you can see it, it is called a spin point. Okay, the point came during this project cycle was like the opex started increasing, and the stage we went where the opex was completely out of control. There were another things like we have to redevelop, revamp the entire application sets also as we were moving to the cloud, because the traditional applications which are there, which are on premises, are not self-sufficient directly to host on public cloud. So at that time, most of us realized that it is better to adopt a hybrid cloud. And as the data, the analyst data states over here, that most of the workloads are the 75% from mid-size to large size are adopting for hybrid and or multi-cloud. When I say hybrid and or multi-cloud are preferred IT models, okay, it is there. And if you'll see the 75% or 80% from the Gartner, what the analysts they have stating, this percentage will definitely increase because all data sets can't be on public cloud and all data sets can't be only on-premise cloud also. So we have to strike a right balance. And when I say, when we are striking a right balance between the multi-cloud journey, okay, so what are the main points, okay, what we have to keep it in mind, which is the agility. So agility and security are the key pillars when I'm growing my business, okay, from the era where we are and considering the future where I want to reach over there. And at the same time, I have to empower my employees also. What is the definition or the basic foundation of empowering our employees is that instead of reskilling, okay, I have to ensure that they have been upskilled, okay, from whatever the skills what they are. because there is a huge difference between upskill and reskill. It makes a hell lot of difference. So the best is to upskill. In this journey, we have to ensure that we are upskilling our employees, and at the same time we are giving a delight or the customer experience to our end customers also. And while doing all these things, we have to balance it out from a cost effectiveness also. So how I'm able to keep my overall TCO on the lower side. At the same time, I'm also able to get the benefit of the cloud, whether it is on premise or whether it is public cloud. So how can I do that? And at the same time, whether when I'm doing all those things, I am in position to have the proper governance. When I say governance, from whether cost perspective or from the security perspective. Say now from with one single click, can I get the complete cost structure of how much is my spend across my private cloud or public cloud or various public clouds? And at the same time, how the security compliance is there from the regulatory bodies. Because as I said in my earlier slide, data is the largest economy, and it's a biggest economy which is going on. Now, to do all these things, you have one single unified platform. Okay, so you can have your entire hybrid cloud infrastructure with Nutanix. You can have the entire cloud management. You can have your enterprise applications running, be it your SAP, S4HANA, be it your cloud native applications like Kubernetes, developed on Kubernetes or microservices or anything. It can be any analytical application also done on Kafka or anything else. It can be any databases like a standard typical databases what we have seen over in last 2 decades. It might be Oracle, SQL, or NoSQL like Mongo database also, which are more used for blockchain environment, or it can be a end user computing also. Okay, so to give the experience for our users or our internal employees or customers for work from anywhere. Okay, so all these options and all these solutions are possible. And while doing this, we can do it from our private cloud, which is on-premise cloud. We can do it from our public cloud. It can be AWS, it can be Azure, it can be GCP, or it can also be from our listed mighty approved government by Indian government. Okay, the listed of like controllers, NetMagic, and all those things. So we can have the cloud uniformity from all of them. Now with this, how, because of this innovative solution year on year what we have been delivering, okay, so we have always been in leaders, Gartner leaders quadrant. Okay, so we, right from day one when the leaders quadrant has started, Gartner, for HCI especially, we have over here always at the top, and same is the scenario for the Forrester also. Now if I had to look at it, so we are so obsessed with our customer success. Okay, and that is the reason why we are having a 90 NPS or the net promoter score. And that is the precise reason in 2018 to 2021, we have doubled our customer base also. So in short, what I'm trying to tell is that we are with you on your journey and for your success. Okay, and with that, I will just hand it back to Ragini, and thank you very much for all the support.